Joining us in the studio, we've got Jordan Lees. Jordan started taking this drug during his A-levels and he said he became addicted to it. And this is Jack Wallington. Jack is from the online forum, The Student Room. They conducted the survey results, as well as Dr. Carol Cooper with all of this. But Jack, just from the survey, what are the shocking findings for you? What are the warning signs? How widespread is all of this?
Yes, we were really surprised. We asked 2,000 students about what they're doing with these drugs, and as you say, 1 in 10 students are taking...
1 in 10?
1 in 10, yes, are actually taking study drugs to help themselves. But actually 25%, so a quarter of students in the UK are actually saying that they would consider using it and are thinking about using it. So it is much... For me, that was a real surprise. That's much more widespread than I thought, even though we read about it in the news.
Well, I have to say, I'd never heard of it. They're calling it a smart drug or a study drug. When did you hear about it, Jordan? How did you come across this drug?
Well, I'd heard about it on the internet a while ago. I didn't take it until I sort of read an article about what was titled "Ismodafinil, the world's first safe smart drug." And, you know, I wouldn't have used them in the past because, like, you can get addicted and it can have a lot of negative effects. So I thought if it was safe, then I might as well try it.
So it's that word safe. So you were doing resits of some A-levels, which is probably more pressure,
I can understand your position because, you know, what the heck, few side effects, but if it is going to make me smarter, can I ask you straight away, did it make you smarter?
No.
Right. The idea that it's billed as a smart drug, what does that really mean, Carol?
It's actually a stimulant, and it's licensed for people who've got narcolepsy, which is a condition where they fall asleep all the time. It's not licensed for use as a smart drug. It's not there to enhance your memory, your alertness, or your performance, but that's what it's being used for.
But it just keeps you awake for longer.
Yes, it does, and because it's a stimulant, that's where most of the side effects come from as well. So it increases alertness and so on, but it also makes you jumpy, jittery, anxious, liable to be distracted. You can't switch off. You can't sleep, and of course, you know, sleep's really, really important for memory and for exam performance.
Yes,
so
but you mightn't have time
really
if you haven't done your work. I mean, you know, you're sitting there and you're worried the way Jordan was worried here. He's got a lot to cram in, no time to cram it in. He needs a smart pill. That's what he's thinking to himself at this stage.
Well, I teach a lot of medical students, and I would not advise them to do that. There are lots of other ways of dealing with exam things, but and the stress and the demands of exams, but I can see the attraction of people who may have left it till the last minute, who are having a panic, who don't want to let themselves down, let their parents down, let the school down, etc., resorting to it. But I'm here to tell you it's not a good idea and it's not very smart.
Yeah. Let's go back to you, Jordan, because you're saying you were under a lot of stress. You were doing resits, so it's even more pressure to pass these. Where were you getting this drug from? How much were you paying for it? And what was the effect it had on you?
I bought it on the internet. It was easy. It was like buying something just normally on the internet.
And did you not worry that could have been anything?
Well, it was a concern, but it was a risk that I was willing to take. It was expensive. It was £50 for 3 months' supply. It sort of had the effect that I wanted, in that it sort of helped us to stay awake, because I used it to sort of deal with depression. I would go home and then I would go to sleep after school and I wouldn't get anything done.
Yeah.
But the negative effect was that I wasn't sleeping enough.
Yeah.
And that sort of...
Then you didn't sleep at all?
Yeah, exactly. I felt ill.
Did you tell your parents about this?
No.
OK, but they did find out, because you did an article about it, didn't you? What was their reaction?
Well, they weren't happy. They don't want us to take drugs. They don't like drugs. But they would prefer to know than to not know, so they can sort of keep us safe.
Well, we were saying there, Jack was saying there, you know, 1 in 10 students are saying they're taking this or they're thinking of taking it. What would you say? There are a lot of people doing exams right now. If they've heard about this, what's your advice to them?
It's not going to be an effective long-term solution. So just try and sleep more, try and work more effectively. But if you are going to do it, speak to your doctor, and maybe tell your parents or tell a teacher so they can keep you safe.
Jack, from your point of view, Jack is what's called the Student Room's community director, and he manages the teams that speak to the students directly. So just give us the feedback, Jack, on this. When did smart pills start coming into the forum? When did people start talking about them? And why did you feel you wanted to carry out this research?
Yes, it's probably... so the Student Room is the world's largest community. It's used by about 75% of students in the UK. It first came onto my radar about 2 or 3 years ago, but actually looking back, students have been talking about it for a good 10 years. It's been around for quite a long time. But I think the discussions around in the news around this has actually perhaps promoted a little bit, and we've had more conversations coming onto the site. We don't allow discussion of drugs of any kind on the site, so we take it off into a private, safe area. But that we get flagged to reports, and so over the last year we've had more of them. That's just triggered in my mind, actually, is this a wider spread than we first thought? And so that's why we conducted the research, to actually understand it.